I'd like to call the meeting to order. Today is Monday, January 16th, 2014. We're meeting for the purpose of a regularly scheduled city council meeting. I would ask that you all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Vanderwall, I'd ask that you call the roll to establish a quorum.
Gutenkopf.
Here.
Deuter.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
Leader. Absent. Polomsky. Absent. Bram.
Here.
Hipskin.
Here.
York.
Here.
Levin.
Here.
Healy.
Here.
Conquest.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Mulliner.
Here.
Wagner.
Here.
12 present, 2 absent.
12 present, 2 absent. We have a quorum. Before we move on to agenda item 3, I would ask for everyone here to join me in a moment of silence in honor of Connie Weatherford, who passed away on December 28th. Connie was a loving wife to Steve Weatherford and a terrific friend to Elmhurst. Thank you very much. Connie, you will be missed. On to agenda item number 3, receipt of written communications from the public. At this time, is there anybody in the audience who has any written communications that they would like to submit to the council? Please come forward and submit what you have to Clerk Vanderwall. Thank you. Is there anyone else at this time who wishes to submit anything in writing to the council? Seeing none, we'll move on. Public forum, agenda item number 4. This is an opportunity for anybody in the audience to address the city council on any item they wish to discuss. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes out of respect for other folks who may want to speak and in the essence of us getting our meeting completed. You will have 3 minutes. If you go over 3 minutes, I will give you a gentle reminder to wrap it up. It's 3 minutes per person. We ask that, and it's not transferable, so you can't bring 3 people and have one person talk for 9 minutes. But that having been said, Clerk Vanderwall, has anybody signed up for a public forum this evening?
Yes. 4.
Wonderful.
First is Claude Pagash, 566 West Gladys.
Mr. Pagash, please approach the microphone.
Claude Pagash, 566 West Gladys. Hope everybody had a good Christmas and New Year's. Starting out the new year and got me interested. We got Fenzel back on here. I guess it's the final vote and all that. And all I can do is request one more time that you don't renew the contract. You couldn't develop an idea of what they would be doing under the budget. Last meeting, you couldn't really determine what they were going to do, if they were going to do anything other than collect a salary. So as far as Fenzel's concerned, I would appreciate if the council voted no on that part of the agenda. What I am a little curious about is 6.5, it's got a authorization for R&J. I looked it up, it's a rather large sum of money. Since they're already putting in the system, why do they have to be hired to service it? Having been in construction a long time, normally a contract includes that they're responsible for its functioning for a year. You hold money to make sure they do run it, and it does run the way it was designed. Another thing is public safety seems to be in need of a gentleman to help them out with the Han project for some reason. Doesn't really make sense. I really would like to have that one explained by Mr. Grabowski. I don't know what they're really going to do down there if the police department, the fire department, and children's services of the county can't help them. I have no idea what $57,000 worth of people are going to do. And if the fire chief and the police chief can't handle it down there, then maybe we need both, 2 new individuals. But as an overall, we got a new budget. Things like this never were discussed. The only thing I didn't like about the budget was there was a hurry. Every evening I stayed, let's hurry up, let's get this done. We got to get it done, let's hurry up, let's get it done. The only thing I can say is for the two aldermen that voted against it, I appreciate what they did, because what they said was true. You guys raced through it. Didn't really have an understanding of what you were voting on, and that seems to be a constant in this administration. So I would like to thank one alderman. I received a tape message about places where you could go if your heating went out, and need services and everything else, and I appreciate what he did. What he did it for the city doesn't matter. He did it. But in the future, if we're going to have a budget meetings, let's not go running along and keep on saying we got to rush through it, rush through it, rush through it. It's the taxpayers' dollars. $100 million is $100 million. I doubt if you were having a condition put on your house that you'd rush through it, whether it was $10 or $10,000. But when you're talking about millions, I begin to wonder how much of those millions is really valid.
Mr. Pogash, you're at your 3 minutes.
Especially when you got this Fenzel thing back up, I don't think it's valid.
Next up, Tamara Brenner, 137 North Caroline.
Tamara Brenner, 137 North Caroline. This past September, I submitted a FOIA request to the City of Elmhurst, seeking the documentation supporting the construction cost estimates for the Addison parking garage, which had been discussed at the September 16th Committee of the Whole meeting. This request was denied, with the city claiming an exemption that did not make sense to me. Despite my inquiry, the city declined to reconsider its decision to withhold these documents, so I filed a request for review with the Public Access Counselor, part of the State of Illinois Attorney General's office. The Public Access Counselor, or PAC, has now issued its determination letter, dated December 31st, 2013. Their conclusion is that the City of Elmhurst improperly denied Ms. Brenner's FOIA request. The City of Elmhurst received its copy of the letter today, and to the city's credit, the documents in question were forwarded to me late this afternoon. So the City of Elmhurst has, within less than 1 year, been found in violation of both the Open Meetings Act, you might remember that was last February, and now the Freedom of Information Act, both times in relation to the Addison redevelopment project. It turns out that these two violations are even more closely connected. The documents I received this afternoon just happened to date back to the September 2012 closed-door meetings, which were held in violation of the Open Meetings Act. Having released the audio tapes of those two meetings following determination of the OMA violation, the city now sought to withhold written documentation that was discussed in those same meetings and release it only after having been found in violation of the FOIA. There's always lots of talk about transparency around here, but actions which demonstrate a lack of transparency speak louder. The FOIA presumes that government documents are open to the public and they should be disclosed upon request unless there is clear and convincing evidence that they should be withheld. I have submitted over the past few years a number of FOIA requests. Maybe the city would say too many. And although many routine requests have been fulfilled promptly, there have also been times when things have not been so smooth. Now, with this PAC determination, I have diminished trust that the city takes seriously its responsibilities under the FOIA, and I have a heightened level of suspicion that full disclosure does not always occur, and that documents which should be disclosed are being improperly withheld. Citizens should not have to jump through multiple hoops to obtain access to what is supposed to be public information. Rather than taking the attitude that citizen involvement is a nuisance and that dealing with FOIA requests is a waste of staff time, the city could and should instead promote real transparency, for instance, by making more documents more readily and routinely available to the public through all the great technologies that we have available these days. This could obviate the need for some of these FOIA requests to be submitted in the first place. And lastly, although I'm thinking you might mention this later tonight, I also want to take the opportunity to mention, for the sake of anyone who's interested in the Addison redevelopment project, that notice has been given for the public hearing regarding the building height and so forth to be held before the Zoning and Planning Commission, and this is going to take place on Thursday, January 23rd at 7:30 p.m. here at City Hall.
Next is Andrea Alvarez, 182 North York.
Good evening. Andrea Alvarez, 182 North York Citizen Advocacy Center. I just wanted to follow up Ms. Brenner's comments and reiterate the purpose of the Freedom of Information Act and Open Meetings Act and address some of the confusion that seems to exist here in Elmhurst concerning providing information. I know you're aware of the FOIA and OMA is to ensure that people are informed of government conducting its business. But let's go through some of that again. Elmhurst is improving some of what it provides the public with through tools such as board docs. However, FOIA requests are not uniformly handled. In certain situations, FOIA requests are quickly and readily responded to. These issues tend to be when routine documents are requested. Moreover, when more substantive documents are requested, or when the documents are related to controversial issues, the city seems to have a difficulty responding to these requests and providing the information requested. There is a problem with the application of FOIA in Elmhurst, and this needs to be addressed. In addition to Ms. Brenner's recent issue, another perfect example is a request of the Citizen Advocacy Center made on October 21st of 2013, related to the work on the Addison Street project. This request asks for, 1, a copy of all information retained in daily appointment calendars for the city manager, the assistant city manager, and the mayor from May 1st, 2013 to October 21st, 2013. 2, all written communications from city manager to Alderman Healy. And 3, all written communications from Alderman Healy to city manager from May 1st through October 21st, and 4, any and all information, including communications between staff, contractors, and consultants related to the Addison Street project planning as referenced in the November 22nd, 2010 letter. Following the FOIA request, the city did not hand over written communication between Alderman Healy and the city manager that we know exists from the time period. Next, in reference to the calendar, the city first denied that there were calendars in existence. Then, upon our pressing for more information, on January 3rd, 2014, 2.5 months later, they turned over the calendar that I have submitted in written communication. First, the length of the time to respond to see this request for information is unacceptable. Second, looking at these calendars, you can see that both the city manager and assistant city managers seem to have pretty light schedules, with some weeks not containing any meetings, some weeks with meeting, but never more than a few meetings here and there. These calendars do not show a meeting schedule, but instead an absence of meetings. Is that accurate? If so, I'm really jealous of their schedules. The lack of responsiveness does a disservice to your constituents and merely prompts more questions than answers. Once again, CAC is happy to help the city address the issue, as we have raised issues concerning public processes more than once. The city needs to respect and solicit input from a diverse range of constituents on issues of public concern. The city released the documents to Ms. Brenner today, and I thank them for that. However, the city needs to continue to show that you are in good faith trying to follow the FOIA statute. Thank you.
Okay, and last, Kathleen Sullivan, 133 Pine.
Kathleen Sullivan, 133 Pine Street. Happy New Year. It's a new year. First, I want to thank the city staff in all the areas, the police and fire, as well as the public works people who have cleared our roads and kept us safe this weekend. We certainly appreciate that. Under the circumstances, it's very extreme out there, and I know a lot of other extreme events that happen usually in the summer, hopefully only. We have gotten to know some of you, so thank you all for what you've done. Second, we wanted to say, in thinking about the weather, in 1967, right before the big snowstorm, which was at the time the big snowstorm until I was an adult, I wasn't here for it. I lived in California, luckily, but I always heard about it. And one of the things, though, is that a few days before that snowstorm, it was January and it was 70 degrees. If 70 degrees is to happen this January, we're in big trouble because we still haven't done anything to address the issue of flooding. So it would be a great goal for 2014. We heard at the last city council meeting that there was plans to bring stuff to the dais by St. Patrick's Day. That's March 17th. And so we look forward to meeting that date because we really haven't met any dates since I received phone calls after the April 18th event by people high up in the administration. So we really need to make some actions that prevent stormwater problems here in town. The sanitary issues that we've done just are going to add stormwater to the stormwater system, and we really need to make some progress on this. Burke finished their report in December of 2011. It's 2014. The Citizens Committee all took another year to do it. That's another year that was ago. So it's time to be moving on these things. Those should be a blueprint for the future. We should be following the actions that were outlined there. We should not add other things to it. And I really hope that we set some good goals for 2014 and address it. Thank you.
That's everyone that signed up.
Okay, that's everyone who has signed up. Is there anybody else in the audience who did not have an opportunity to sign up for a public forum this evening? If there's anybody else who wishes to talk, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll move on. Agenda item number 5, announcements. Are there any announcements from the dais this evening? Alderman Dunn.
Yes, I want to make a note that one of our businesses in town, Superior Ambulance, located at 395 West Lake Street, is going to have a Register to Vote event, actually on 2 separate days, Wednesday, January 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then also on Friday, February 7th, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., and that will be in the cafeteria at Superior Ambulance at 395 West Lake Street in Elmhurst.
Okay.
Thanks.
Alderman Brame.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Myself and Alderman Polumsky will be holding a Third Ward Town Hall meeting on Wednesday, January 15th at 7:30 or 7 o'clock at the Elmhurst Public Library. Hope to see everyone there. Thank you.
Okay, any other announcements this evening? City Manager Grabowski.
One announcement here, and that is that we were notified today by Allied that refuse collection is being delayed by 1 day due to the weather. So it'll be a holiday schedule. Wednesday will be picked up Thursday, Thursday on Friday, and then Friday on Saturday. We've gotten the word out today on all the social media and electronically that we could, including our partners at District 205, asking them to spread that word as well.
Okay. Any other announcements? Seeing none, we'll move on. Consent agenda, agenda item number 6. At this time, is there anything on the consent agenda that anybody on the council would like to pull for further discussion? Alderman Levin.
6.2.
6.2. Alderman Gutenkopf.
6.6.
6.6. Okay. Is there any other items that the council wishes to discuss in greater detail on the consent agenda? Seeing none, I will ask for an approval of the consent agenda minus agenda items 6.2 and 6.6. Alderman Gutenkopf with a motion, Alderman Bram with a second. Clerk Vanderwall.
Gutenkopf.
Aye.
Bram.
Aye.
Hipskin. Aye. York.
Aye.
Levin.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn.
Aye.
Leader. Absent. Polomsky. Absent. 12 ayes, 0 nays.
12 ayes, 0 nays. That motion carries. On to the first agenda item that was pulled, 6.2. To put this before the council, I'll ask for a motion to approve. Actually, Clerk Spencer, Clerk Vanderwall, please read the minutes. What does it say?
These are the minutes of the executive session of the City Council on December 16th, 2013, and the recommended action is to approve and place on file.
Motion to approve the recommended action by Alderman Mulliner, second by Alderman Gutenkopf. Okay, it's now before us. Alderman Levin.
I would just like to have it deferred back to, for a correction.
Okay.
Before executive session.
Okay. Makes sense. We've done that in the past when there's been a scrivener's error or such that we need to discuss. Any other comments or questions as it relates to that? We'll do this by a voice vote, or do we need to pull it back? I don't think we do. Do we? A motion, I say it would be a motion. We put a motion on the floor, and he's gonna, would he amend the motion? Or do we just pull it back?
I think you just pull it back.
We're just gonna pull it back without,
Yeah,
it's
that's
been
the
our past
practice that
practice to
we've
pull it
always
back.
Bring it back to
Pull it back.
executive session.
Okay. All right, 6.2 won't be voted on. We'll pull it back and address Alderman Levin's concerns during executive session. On to 6.6. Clerk Vanderwall, please read the resolution.
It is Resolution R02-2013, a resolution authorizing the execution of a consulting agreement between Finezell Community Marketing and the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. And that should be 14.
Okay, a motion to approve the resolution by Alderman Levin, second by Alderman Mulliner. Alderman Gutenkopf, you pulled this. You have the floor.
Well, I just noticed it just now, but shouldn't the number be R02-2014? Just
It's a Scrivener's error on the
to start. Oh, it's a Scrivener's error in the, okay. I pulled this, I think I made my feelings quite clear at the meeting where we discussed the contract. I'm not going to reiterate this, but I pulled this so I could vote against it.
Okay. Alderman Bram?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also spoke at length when we were talking about the report for this referral. Over the past 6 or 7 years, Finezall's hourly wage increased from $75 to $85 an hour. We as a Greater Council have pretty much said that the end of last year, 2013, we would extend the contract, even though I wasn't even in favor of that at that time, due to a referral by Alderman York and Alderman Polumsky. That referral, to my understanding, even though I have not seen the results, has been completed. I don't see why we would continue an additional 6 months with extending this contract when there doesn't seem to be clear understanding of what the roles should be. If we don't know what the roles are and what this new proposed position would encompass, and if this role is still needed, I think it's a sad state of affairs. So I cannot, in good conscience, approve this contract extension.
Okay, any other comments? Clerk Spencer, please, Clerk Vanderwall, please call the roll.
Levin.
Aye.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Gutenkopf.
No.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn.
Aye.
Leader, absent. Polumsky, absent. Bram.
No.
Hipskin.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
10 ayes, 2 nays, 2 absent.
10 ayes, 2 nays. That motion and resolution pass. That's it for consent agenda. On to agenda item number 7, reports and recommendations of appointed and elected officials. Mayor Morley. First and foremost, a heartfelt thanks to all of the Public Works employees who have been working around the clock since New Year's Eve to clear the streets during these rough times. I think they've done a fantastic job, not only in clearing the streets, but in making the city safe for everybody. And other note, hopefully you did receive a robocall today, but schools, District 205 is canceling all classes for tomorrow. That's it for me. City Manager Grabowski?
Yes, 2 items, thank you. Just also to extend my gratitude to the Public Works Department for all the efforts they've made. Just so people are aware, when storms like this hit, we split the department into 2 12-hour shifts. Rather than an 8-hour shift, we go to 2 continuous 12-hour shifts. And we also bring in contractors which help us unload the snow from the city center and other shopping areas. 12-hour shifts have been going, at least for this most recent storm, since Saturday, and again, that's around the clock. And to date, just to have some reference here, we've used 2,400 tons of salt already for the year, which compares with a 10-year average of approximately 3,500 per winter season, so we're pretty high up there. We currently have enough salt on hand, but we're continuously getting more orders in as we move through. So I appreciate everyone's patience, as the mayor said, as we go through this as well, and just ask everybody to slow down and show them that courtesy. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, one other item. The public hearing for the Addison deck has been scheduled for January 23rd. That'll be Thursday. That's the Zoning and Planning Commission. And since the city is the petitioner in this case, and the city attorney, mainly Nick Peppers, will be helping the city, so to speak, we have decided to appoint separate counsel for the Zoning and Planning Commission. And that appointment, in conference with the city attorney, is a gentleman by the name of Everett Hill from the firm Kleinthorpe and Jenkins. He's a municipal attorney with over 37 years of experience in different municipalities. Again, talking to Attorney Storino, we think he'll be a real asset for the Zoning and Planning Commission. That's all.
Okay. Any other announcements? I'm sorry, yes. Any other reports or recommendations? Alderman Bram.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 items, one of which we have a neighbor who spoke tonight in regards to a public safety issue or public safety referral for Hahn Street. It is 6.4 on our consent agenda. It's a referral. I don't want to go in depth because it is a referral, but I did want to clarify for our neighbor. This is David Hahn. It is nothing related to Hahn Street, the development project. This is a social worker or counseling services for our public safety individuals, for our police department, for our fire department, and other individuals who may need that. The other item actually is a question for the city manager, if you could please report on North York planning and what is the current schedule for North York planning for the committee that Mayor Morley has assigned, as well as for the public to receive additional public and business input for that planning project.
Thank you. As you know, the consultant held 2 meetings, 2 public hearings, 2 public meetings, one specifically for businesses and business owners in the area, and one specifically for residents. They were very pleased with the turnout at both of those meetings. They will take additional comments on their website at any time. It links from the city website for the North York plan. There's a tool on there, a mapping tool that you can use that I know a number of residents have taken advantage of and expressed their comments via electronically versus in public. I don't have the detailed schedule for the further plans in front of me, but I'll be happy to forward that out tomorrow. It is available on the website at any time. People can go and look at the project website and know exactly where we are.
Alderman Bram.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple things. It was promised that the meeting minutes, if you would, from the business planning session as well as the public session would be posted on the website. The last time I checked, it was not there. So I would like to see that updated soon. Also, due to those meetings being around the holiday season, I've requested this at a previous council meeting. I would encourage the city to hold an additional meeting. The turnout on both sessions I was at for the business as well as the public was, I don't know about really good, but pretty good. But due to the holiday season, I would definitely encourage the city to consider additional meetings to get additional input. A lot of residents aren't as familiar with the website and have hesitancy to attempt to go online to submit comments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any other reports or recommendations? Seeing none, we'll move on to other business. Any other business? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Alderman York with a motion, Alderman Deuter with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.